into our first segment.
It's time for Tomahawk Takes.
It's time for Tomahawk Takes, where we preview the previous Braves series. And this segment is brought to you by SeatGeek. Use code CHOPSEAT at SeatGeek for $20 off your first purchase. Again, use code CHOPSEAT for $20 off your first purchase on SeatGeek. If you want to go to any concerts, games, plays, Broadway shows, whatever floats your boat, use code CHOPSEAT. So we're going to look into this series that took place over the weekend. Another disappointing series for our Atlanta Braves. I'm starting to panic now. I'm starting to press the panic button. I'm not even kidding, because you keep losing series now, and it's going to get tougher from here on out. So especially the one that's coming up, and we'll see that in the Braves forecast. But it was a series against the San Diego Padres, and the Braves end up losing 2 out of 3. The Padres, man, this is a team that's been haunting us as of late. They beat us last year in the first round. They just beat our butts. And they beat us in the first 4 games of the season, like I said in our last episode. And then we ended up losing 3 to the Dodgers. That gave us the 0-7 start. So coming into this series, we were 0-4 against the Padres. And losing this 2 out of 3, we are now 1-6. That's the end of the season series against them. We won't see these guys again unless we face off in the playoffs again. So at least that's some good news. That's some good news regarding the Padres. But I mean, after losing these two out of 3, the Braves now stand at 25-27, under 500 yet again. And like I said, it's not going to get easier from here on out for a little while. But let's look at game 1. Game 1 was exciting because Ronald Acuna Jr., La Bestia, he was set to make his season debut after being out for a whole entire year after his ACL injury. And guess what? It was an exciting return indeed, because he homers on the first pitch that he sees. He cranked that one. Just 467 feet to left center, 115.5 miles per hour exit velo. He got all of that one, and we were able to see that great spark that he is for our Atlanta Braves. But believe it or not, that was the only run for the Braves the entire game, coming from a guy that just got back. Again, that was the only run. Nick Pivetta was the starter for the San Diego Padres. He went 6 innings, 4 hits, 1 run allowed. That was that homer again by Ronald Acuna Jr. He gave up 3 walks and 7 Ks. He now sits at a 2.72 ERA. So phenomenal game by Nick Pivetta. He has been doing his thing out in San Diego. And to counter that, it was Chris Sale. He pitched 7 innings, 4 hits, 1 earned run, 1 walk, and 6 Ks. He's now at a 3.36 ERA. And that was not a bad start from Chris Sale. Again, he pitches well enough to keep us in the game, keep the offense in the game. But when your offense is only scoring 1 run, it's not going to be enough. And that's what happened in this game. As for the Padres, they answer right back in the top of the second after Acuna hits the leadoff homer. A guy who hasn't been given a sheet, Gavin Sheets, he goes yard against Chris Sale. The lefty Sheets takes the lefty Sale to deep center. That ties the ball game. After that, both starters settle in, and it's pretty much a smooth sailing. Acuna, he gets his second hit of the season with a single to center field in the top of the third. Verdugo, he tallied 2 hits in the ball game. Albies and Michael Harris II also had a hit each. Those were the 4 hits for the game for the Atlanta Braves. Michael Harris II, he stole a bag. That was his 9th of the season. But against Chris Sale, the Padres did threaten in the top of the 6th with El Nino, Fernando Tatis at third with 1 out, and Manny Machado at the plate. Machado, he grounds one to third base. Riley, he makes a perfect throw to the catcher, Sean Murphy, and Tatis Jr., he's gunned out, and that threat was neutralized. So it was still a close game. And also, we had a great play by Ronald Acuna Jr. in the top of the 8th. He shows his arm. He shows his talent on both sides of the field. He gets his first outfield assist of the season as he guns out the catcher, Elias Diaz. In the top of the eighth, like I said, trying to dig out a double, and it was huge because that would have been a leadoff double to start the top of the eighth. But no, Acuna has other plans. He guns him out at second. That is the first out of the inning. But then in the top of the ninth, Machado, he redeems himself after grounding out in that top of the sixth inning. He crushes one 422 feet deep. That he hit that one to left field. There was a hanging slider, a hanging 85-mile-per-hour slider out of the hands of struggling Raisel Iglesias, our boy. Another one, guys. Another one, another game where he gets crushed. And I don't know. Is it time for hashtag have Daysbel Hernandez close out games? What do you guys think? I think it is. Like, this already way too many times that Iglesias has gotten rocked, giving up easy runs. I think he's given up like 5-6 homers already. It might be even more than that. That's the same amount that he gave up last year, the entire season. So obviously something is going on. Something is not right. But anyways, Snaker, he said I think he's mentioned that he's gonna have him not throw the slider anymore, which you kind of should have kept that on the low, because if hitters were sitting on that slider, now they're not even gonna be waiting for it. They're gonna be sitting on something else, maybe his changeup or something. So you should have probably kept that to the chest, my boy. But anyways, it is what it is. It's not gonna be Daysbel Hernandez time, unfortunately, because Snit lives and dies by his closers. So, buckle up, sit down. It's going to be a long ride when it comes to closing out games. But anyways, the Braves, they did have a great chance to tie or win the game. But there was a huge mistake, unfortunately, by Eli White. If you haven't seen the play, this is what happened. Eli White, he came into pitch run for Verdugo after he gets a leadoff single off of the closer, Robert Suarez. Suarez then gets Sean Murphy to ground out, and that moves Eli White to second base. Ozzy, he then comes up, and this is where the madness begins. He singles on a line drive to center field. Jackson Merrill out in center field. Eli White, he's heading to third. Then he sees a third base coach Matt Suasosopo with his hands up, telling him to stop. He wasn't pointing at the bag. I get he wasn't pointing at the bag, but he had his hands up, telling him to stop. And then for some reason, Eli White decides to head back to second base. Jackson Merrill, he was throwing the ball in. Luis Arias cuts it off. He comes running from first towards the pitcher's mound. He cuts it off. He throws the ball to second. Eli White is gunned out. The ultimate rally killer, the ultimate momentum killer. It could have been first and third with one out, or tie ball game, a run on first with one out, but no, instead it was 2 outs, runner on first, and you're still down 2-1. Again, a big momentum killer. Eli White, after the game, he reportedly said he simply just got confused. He said he got a good read on it, but he just didn't trust it, and he got confused. It was a really bad, costly move. And that was how the Braves lost game 1. Michael Harris, he did have a great at-bat following up that Ozzy single. He was fouling off pitches, but after 7 pitches on the 8th pitch, he grounds out. And again, that's the ball game. The Braves lose this one 2-1. Final score, a tight one where they could have came out and stole that one at home against a team that's been, again, haunting you the entire season, beating you up left and right. You got a good chance to do it, and you don't take advantage of it. And then we move on to game 2. Game 2, it was a good one. It was all Braves in this one. It was a 7-1 final score. Michael King, he was scheduled to start this one for the Padres, but he was scratched about 20 minutes before. I believe he's now on the IL. And it was Sean Reynolds who ended up starting this one for the Padres. This was his first career start. He went 2 2/3, gave up 6 hits, 3 runs, 3 earned, no walks, and 1 strikeout. And for the Braves, it was Grant Holmes again, another great quality start by a starter. 7 innings, 6 hits, 1 run. That one was earned. and 6 strikeouts. He now has a 3.68 ERA. And Sean Reynolds, he in the bottom of the second, he hits Verdugo with a pitch. Verdugo then goes to third. Nick Allen singles on a slow roll to the third. Machado let it roll to see if it went foul, but it ends up hitting the third base bag and it stays fair. That allows Verdugo to score. That was 1-0 Braves. That was it for the Braves for this half inning. And on the top of the third, the Padres again, they answer right back. Brandon Lockridge, he's hit by a pitch to open the inning, just like Verdugo was the previous half inning. He later steals second and is driven in by Manny Machado's single to center field. That ties the ball game up 1-1. In the bottom of the third, the Braves scored 2 of their own. Matt Olson, Matty O with a homer to left center field. That was his 12th of the season. And then Wandy Peralta, he then comes in relief. And Austin Riley, he doubles. That's his 9th of the season. And after that, Alex Verdugo, he singles. Ozzie Albies scores. Riley with an infield single to third base. Bottom of the 6th, Ronald Acuna Jr., La Bestia, he hits his 2nd homer of the season, a 427-foot bomb on a 70-mile-per-hour sweeper from Alec Jacob. Nick Allen was on first with a walk prior to that one, so that makes the ball game 5-1. Bottom of the 7th, Braves tagged on 2 more runs with a bases loaded single by Michael Harris II. Money Mike getting into the action. After that, Enio de los Santos and Scott Blewett, they finish off the game, coming in the 8th and 9th inning respectively, and they helped finish the Padres off in game 2. So that was a great victory for the Braves, an easy one. And this is the kind of games we need to win. When the offense shows out, we're going to win these ball games because the pitching has been holding it down for the most part, especially the starting pitching. They've been putting the offense in a position to be able to score 3-4 runs and, come away with the victory. But again, if the offense is only giving you 1-2 runs, it's not going to be enough. And they got to start clicking when it comes offensively. But that was it for game 2 of the series. That was Saturday's game. And then we went on to Sunday. That was game 3. It was a 4:10 p.m. start time. The Padres, they win this one by a final score of 5-3. It was started by Dylan Cease for the Padres. He won 5 innings, 6 hits, 3 runs. Those 3 earned, 1 walk, and 8 Ks. He now has a 4.58 ERA. And Spencer Schwellenbach, once again, another great start by the starters. He went 7 innings, 7 hits, 4 runs, but only 2 of those earned. No walks and 11 strikeouts. 3.42 ERA for him. And this is how it started. In the top of the first, Padres, they score 1 thanks to a Manny Machado double and a Jackson Merrill single. That makes it 1-0. Bottom second, Braves, they tie it up with an Ozzie Albies double that plates Austin Riley. And in the bottom of the 5th, the Braves, they take the lead on a sac fly from Nick Allen and then a wild pitch that scores Ozzie after he doubled earlier in the inning. So that gave the Braves a 3-1 lead. But then Gavin Sheets, again, he's hot. He hits his 10th homer. That was a 2-run homer, and that ties the ball game up 3-3. Top of the 7th, Jake Cronenworth, he homers. That makes it 4-3. And in the top of the 8th, Manny Machado, another one for him. He homers. That's a 5-3 score. That's your ball game. The Padres, they end up hitting homers in consecutive innings, the 6th, 7th, and the 8th inning. And that's how they win the series. It was, again, like I said, a disappointing series for our Atlanta Braves. They just can't seem to beat these guys. They just can't seem to beat them. It's like they're overmatched when it comes to the Padres. And even some other teams, the Dodgers as well. It's looking to be like, they can't beat the good teams. It means that, you don't have it. You don't got it this year, man. Unfortunately, it is what they have been showing us as of late. You gotta get hot. Eventually, you're gonna have to get hot. There's a bunch of teams with winning streaks around the leagues week in and week out, but the Braves, they're not there. They're not there. At least give us a 4-game winning streak. That would be nice. That'll put us right now. That'll put us 2 games over 500. I'm not asking for much. Win 4 or 5, or something like that. That'll put us in a better spot. But if the offense isn't doing anything, it's not gonna happen. But anyways, that was it for Tomahawk Takes, and now